So you guys want to be ushers here at Valley Fellowship Church? You think you got what it takes? You think you're man enough? Do you think you can be one of the greats? The Larry Lasters, the Tom Hayeses, the Barry Presslers? Oh, no, they're not dead. They're old. They're not dead. Well, let's start off with the basics, the offering. Now, everybody thinks that the offering is a piece of cake, but it's not. There are plenty of things to worry about when you're taking up the offering. Number one, how do you keep Sister Carol from calling on you to pray for the offering? Well, you're in the big leagues now, boys. No rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub's going to work on this one. So you have to be prepared. How do you think that you can keep Sister Carol from calling you?
Oh, I know. Yeah. I got it. No eye contact. No. You.
Think positive thoughts and hope somebody else will get called on.
No.
Okay, I really got to decide. Make a deal with God that if she doesn't call on you, you'll go on a missions trip.
No, great thought, but look at me. I had to pray for the offering and I'm still going to Amazon. Good thought, but no dice there either. How do you keep Sister Carol from calling on you to pray for the offering? You don't. She knew who was praying for that before you were even born. So don't even try. Now, since you're probably going to get called on, I have a surefire method how you don't freeze up and that you have a prayer that the congregation and the pastors will approve of. It's called the Laster method. Yes?
What's the Laster method?
Now, the Laster method is simple. Say the same prayer every time. It's worked for 25 years. You gotta know it, you gotta own it, and you even gotta throw in some scriptures like running together a brethren or jumping over a bosom or something like that. You got it? Got it.
Yeah. All right. I got a question.
Yeah.
What's a half poo?
Half poo?
Poo.
Half. Oh, you mean half pew? Pew, it's pew. A half pew, not poo, is when you walk up to I'll walk up to one of the rows and half of it is empty. But we'll get that on the second day of training. Right after we work on literacy and sounding out words. Now, another thing you need to worry about when you're on the side aisles, Larry Lasser's always got the middle one, but when you're on the side aisles, a common misconception for ushers is to think that the people on the sides are smart enough that when the offering plate gets to the end, where the aisle ends and the wall is, that they're smart enough to turn it back and give it to the aisle behind them. They're not. They are not. It has been happening for 30 years and it's not going to stop now, so don't even try. Well, moving on. The next big thing in the career of an usher is catching people when they're getting prayed for. Now, this is serious because people's lives are in your hands. Now, this one is a biggie, but the first person that you would think to worry about is Sister Carol. When she pulls one of her, I just landed a figure skating maneuver, one of these, you might worry about it. But don't worry about her. Her and Jesus have a deal. They work the deal out that he gives her not too much of the Spirit so that she can finish the sermon, but just enough that she fails the field sobriety test.
She ever actually taken a tumble?
One time, but it was a fluke. It was a misplaced floor speaker. It was behind her. She didn't know it was coming. But once again, she's not the one you need to worry about. You need to look for the signs.
Signs? What kind of signs?
Well, the biggest sign is when Sister Carol uses the dim mock.
The dim mock? What is that?
In martial arts circles, it's called the dim mock, which means the death touch. But in nerd circles, it's probably the Vulcan death grip, but in Pentecostal circles, it's just called timber. Yes.
So what are we looking for?
Well, when she's praying for someone, you'll see her thumb and her two first fingers. You'll see them come together as they go up to the praise head. And as they touch the top of the praise head, the head will slowly rock back. She'll take one step forward. Timber! You better be ready to catch.
So is that all we have to worry about when it comes to catching?
No, there are plenty of signs, but I'll give you one more. Let's say it's a random day, you're standing behind ready to catch somebody, and Pastor Will and Elizabeth happen to be praying for them.
Does she have a dim mock too?
She doesn't have a dim mock. It's not really a physical thing, it's more of a noise. You'll hear a noise that sounds kind of like an overachieving owl, like a...
If they don't fall?
That's a good question, good question. If they don't fall, more than likely, you'll just have to wait till the prayer's over and then they'll go, sit down after the prayer's over. But there are some exceptions.
Exceptions?
Well, if they don't automatically sit down, they might just sit there and soak it in for a while, just kind of stand there. And they usually aren't going anywhere, but you can't tell that to Barry Pressler. Well, one day, he chose the wrong person. And he got danced around that place like he was MC Hammer. She wasn't going down and she was not sitting down. See, you guys aren't even close to being good ushers. These noobs don't have the stones to be among the greats.
But, what if I'm not strong enough to catch solo?
It's a good point. It's a jungle out there. Don't get caught alone. You might think it's a size issue, but the smallest, petitest lady could take 3 people to catch her, just depending on how the Spirit catches her. But that does bring up a great point. I'll leave you with this one today. It was a nice Sunday, winter, cold morning in Huntsville, 50, 55 degrees. And the late Sister Peggy Richards, she was giving the sermon, she was a special speaker. And man, she was shoving it down the cob, as we say here in the South. She was on point. And then the sermon happened and the altar call came, and boy, was it full. They were going down left and right. Well, when that happens, it's rapid fire. You got to keep your knees bent, and you got to be ready with your head on a swivel, so you know what's going to happen. Well, at that time, a man by the name of Chris Haley, he was one of the ushers. Now he's about 5'6", $150, somewhere around in there, and he got paired up. It was one prayee to one usher. He got paired up with Brother Ken Finley. Now, Brother Ken Finley. He's not as big as me, but he's in the ballpark. If you're picking up, I'm putting it down. Well, Brother Ken caught it. He caught it good, and he went back. And Chris Haley went down for the count, got caught in between the stage and Brother Ken, as if he had done a cannonball, and Brother Ken got him with a backflip and stopped him from even making it happen. Brother Ken won that match. So, who still wants to be an usher?
Kids ministry, yeah, that's where we're going to go.